So today we're going to talk about more stimulus, but also this additional stimulus will lead to more inflation. Want to address what's going on right here because it's not a new $1.2 trillion plan. This is actually a plan that has already been put in place. Want to address what's going on here because, again, I've been getting a lot of questions from people lately. Now, here's the thing that we need to discuss because a bunch of people kept asking me, why can't Congress pass a bill for X, Y, and Z? Why can't they just agree when both parties understand this is what we need? For example, let's talk about Social Security. And Social Security is going to become insolvent within the next 9 years. Well, why can't both parties just come together and agree that yes, we should get something done? Well, here's the reason why. And this is part of the major problem, which goes back to more stimulus and also higher inflation. The problem that we have right now is that Democrats don't believe what Republicans tell them. And Republicans cannot believe what Democrats tell them. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, what is the big problem now? Well, here it is. Back in 2022, Congress passed a $1.2 trillion piece of legislation called the Inflation Reduction Act. Well, I think we can all agree that the Inflation Reduction Act was supposed to be named because it was going to reduce inflation, right? Well, in that piece of legislation, the CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, they estimated that it would cost around $390 billion between 2022 and 2031. But that is not what the new estimates based on a new analysis out of Goldman Sachs is saying. That $390 billion, okay, from the Inflation Reduction Act, according to reports, this is now going to change. We were supposed to offset the cost of this bill, that $391 billion. That was going to be offset by increased revenue through the IRS auditing more Americans, so-called the wealthy Americans, right? The ones that were cheating the system. But according to reports, that's not what's going to happen, and this is where this massive problem lies. That $391 billion that the CBO estimated, that is now, according to Goldman Sachs, estimated to be closer to $1.2 trillion. Yeah, the entire cost of that bill is now going to be put on us, the taxpayers, and the economy. And you're probably thinking and probably wondering, well, how in the world would the CBO be so far off on their estimate? Well, this is where I say Republicans cannot believe what Republicans or what Democrats tell them. Democrats don't believe what Republicans tell them either. Here's why. According to the reports, that the reason why the $391 billion estimate was so far off is because they used different accounting tricks, which is crazy to think, but it really, how was this able to pass through Congress and nobody realized it? Well, it did pass, and people just didn't look. But at the same time, lawmakers are being asked to vote on a bill before they ever read the bill. And especially when a bill is thousands of pages long, nobody's ever going to read that, especially in the time that they get it between that time and the vote. It's just not possible. It's not feasible, right? But here's how things are going to cost us more money. So the big thing in this bill was, and this was supposed to be, it was all for EV, electric vehicles, right? It was going to go solar, a lot of stuff, a lot of money coming back to the American people, going into the economy. Well, here's what we knew. The reason why that this was supposed to be the Inflation Reduction Act, well, one of the things that we were going to bring down the cost of was travel, transportation, driving cars, right? And this was going to cost us about $379 billion, okay, more than what it was anticipated. Here's the reason why. What have we been hearing for the past 6 months, or really the past 6 months or almost a year now? But what we've been hearing is, okay, you can get an EV tax credit or a subsidy of $7,500 if you buy that electric vehicle, but not that one. That one you can. Oh, but that Tesla? No, that one doesn't qualify. Well, guess what? President Biden and Democrats decided, well, let's expand it. Let's make it the subsidy available to more vehicles. So after the bill passed, again, and this is part of the problem, that the bill passed as it was written, and again, when the language is not perfectly defined, it creates this problem. But this allowed President Biden to pretty much open the doors to more vehicles being included here. And so guess what happened? Even though it was going to cost however many hundreds of billions of dollars, then what happened was they opened the door and more vehicles now were met the requirement. So that is a big reason why. They pass a bill, then they go and change the bill within the scope of the law, which they can do. But again, that is why we are not seeing more bills. Think about, why would Republicans want to vote yes on a bill? Because now, even if there is, and again, the hard part with the Inflation Reduction Act is that was all a Democratic bill. That was all Democrats. It was a bipartisan bill, right? So here's the problem. What we are going to see, especially moving forward and talking about Social Security, Medicare, could be defense spending, whatever it is, right? Could be border security. What's going to happen is Democrats are going to come to Republicans and be like, this is our bill. This is what we need to get passed. Here you go. And let's vote on it soon. Yeah, within the next hour or so. And Republicans are going to look at them and be like, no, I'm not going to vote on this bill because this is what you did last time. Why would I think it's going to be any different when you do it time and time again? So for all those people that are saying, well, why can't we get something done? Why are they not looking at the people on Social Security? Why are they not passing more for SNAP benefits and nutrition assistance? This is a prime example. This is a prime example why. But I want to share something else with you. Something else that you need to understand is just how much more stimulus this is going to create for our economy. According to Goldman Sachs, they say that the $1.2 trillion in additional spending is going to create $3 trillion in investments by businesses and individuals into climate-friendly ventures. So what does this mean? This means more inflation. That's what this means. It means more inflation. So yes, we are sitting at 6% inflation right now, but the expectation is, and this is part of the projection, is that inflation is staying as high as it is because we passed this $1.2 trillion Inflation Reduction Act, when in reality, it didn't bring down inflation. It's actually keeping it higher than dropping it down. Again, part of the problem. So, is this going to bring more stimulus? The answer is yes. As the American people get some money, and as car prices come down, guess what's going to happen? The American people are going to spend that money on vehicles to get that $7,500 tax credit. That's what we're expecting to see. So, what does this mean moving forward? Well, in the time being, it's going to put a little more pressure to bring prices down, which is great. That's going to bring down inflation. But again, it's only to the automotive industry. Other things are going to cost more money. And then when people go and get electric vehicles, because, well, guess what? These are better for the economy. These are better for the climate, right? These are going to cost less for fuel. Well, if the car is still $15,000 more than a very similar gas-powered car, it's actually going to cost you more money temporarily, but it could potentially cost you more money in the long term as well. So again, this massive $1.2 trillion Inflation Reduction Act is going to cause even more inflation, all because it's additional stimulus that's going out there to the economy. It's not a stimulus check, but it's more stimulus because it's a tax credit. So, once we get more information on this, I promise I will bring you all the latest news and updates. Right now, I just thought, that's crazy. This news report came out a few days ago. I wanted to touch on this one, but I thought there was other things that I need to get to as well. So, if you want more information on potential, not really stimulus checks, but more stimulus that is impacting our economy and our wallets, let me know down in the comment section below. All you got to write is more stimulus. That is it. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.